Welcome back, where it's Europe 8, the USA 5, time for another singles match.
So it's the Battle of the Big Boys, Part 2. It was the American that proved himself the heavy hitter in the first one. VerBruggen, the lightweight. But let's see if the tables will turn here. Is VerBruggen hoping the scales tilt in his favour?
Team USA have just taken seating positions right by the approach to watch.
Yes, just as VerBruggen stepped up to bowl as well. I'm sure that was a bit of kidology. Or am I being cynical? Here's VerBruggen getting things underway with a strike.
Always good to start with a strike. Tells your opponent you're right on top of the game. Just put a little bit of doubt in his mind, because there's nothing he can do to stop you.
Mind you, here's Manna. And after the way he won that first game against VerBruggen, he'll be confident of second helpings.
Tony coming up too heavy on the head pin there. No deflection through the head pin, so the 3-pin remains standing and the 6 with it. Has to guard against the chop here, Nick.
Yes, not exactly the easiest of spares. And he doesn't want to start with an open frame. I tell you, that'll leave him with a big problem. Safely done. The spare from Manna.
Bill Hoffman and Mike Mullin liking it. Slight advantage for Europe. They have the strike working now, so they can steal a 10-pin lead if Gery can strike with this shot.
So the Belgian lines up, takes his time, really thinking about this. Yeah, make mine a double, says Gery.
Really good shot from the Belgian there. You see the 1-pin, the 3-pin, the 6 and the 10 all going straight down that line. It's a perfect pocket hit.
Sure, that's left a nasty taste in the American's mouth. He'll know he's got to match this somehow. Starting out with the spare. Terrific.
Much better second frame from Tony. Didn't think it'd be long before he was hitting the pocket again. Really rock steady at the foul line.
He's too good a bowler for that, isn't he?
Yep.
This man's impressed me in this tournament. Really has bowled well. Terrific temperament as well. But VerBruggen with the double. 3 in a row is known as Turkey. Oh, VerBruggen would love a great big plateful of it right here. And he's got it!
Well, Gery's really up for this. I think the defeat by Tony in his previous match was rankling with him. Good mix on the pins there off the light pocket hit. Gery's pocket is obviously the opposite side of the headpin to Tony's. He's trying to hit the gap between the 1 and the 2, and Tony trying to hit the gap between the 1 and the 3. Let's see if Tony can do it again now.
Yeah, because the pressure on him is growing. He's got to match strike for strike. And does. Oh, doesn't this fella rise to a challenge? It's amazing how simple this game can look sometimes. But it's VerBruggen with the edge. He seems to have slowed his pace down, Richard, or is that my imagination? He's being very deliberate and methodical here, the Belgian.
I think you may be right.
Let's see if it gets the result. No, the streak ends.
They may just be getting a little bit quicker on Gery, because started with 2 very good shots and then a mixer, so the ball ended up a little bit further to the right on the 3rd frame, and then even further to the right on this frame. They might need to make an adjustment next shot. Try and get the ball fuller in the pocket.
Safely done. But it means that Manna can get right back onto level terms with a strike here. Not the greatest of spares, but all he's got to do is knock the pin over. They don't put it in the book as how solidly you're connected, as long as it goes down. Well, we saw VerBruggen get some turkey in his game. 3 strikes. Manna will match that with a turkey of his own right here. Ooh, he got lucky, and he knows it. They call that a Brooklyn. It goes the wrong side of the headpin, and we haven't seen too much of that in this Weber Cup, but there was a Brooklyn.
No, that's about the worst shot that Tony's thrown in the tournament by a long, long way. And he got very, very lucky to get a strike off of it. You see the ball crossing over into Gery's pocket.
And that's what this reaction is about, Richard. It's like, yeah, okay. Got lucky. Safely back in the zone.
Well, if Gery did adjust, he made the right one. Good mix on the pins there.
So Tony, meanwhile, looking for a 4-bagger.
Can take the lead with this shot, Nick.
And I think this would be ominous for Gery as well, because when this fella gets himself online, frankly, having got away with one in the last frame, he's probably just about got what he deserved there. And he's not on top of this lane at the moment, is he?
Well, this shot was probably a direct result of the previous shot, where he didn't want to go over to the Brooklyn twice running. It would have been very embarrassing. And he's probably just overcompensated, maybe pushed it through a bit quicker or thrown it a bit wider.
And he's left himself what they call a sleeper, the pin you can't quite see. And how often do these get missed? Well, not on that
occasion. That's just about the perfect spare for the sleeper. Just on the right of the front pin. No deflection on the ball. Straight through to the back pin.
And not much in it now. The Belgian still in front.
And can extend his lead with this shot. This is a double that Tony can't reply to if Gery makes it.
And he does. Double delight for Gery VerBruggen.
It's always good to reply with a very good double of your own when your opponent gets a lucky one. Just tells them that you're actually really bowling better than them.
So VerBruggen can sit back and say, right, I'm nicely focused. I'm where I want to be. This is a very big ball for Tony Manna. He got the Brooklyn strike. He got lucky. Then he's left the sleeper spare. Now, what adjustments is the American making to get himself back online? Well, there you go.
This is better from Tony. Back into the pocket. Maybe just a little bit heavy, but very good shot. Deserving of a strike.
Good match this one, Richard, isn't it? Tense and edgy.
Excellent match. Gery not letting Tony run away with it like he did in the first meeting.
Yes, it was all done and dusted, wasn't it, really? By pretty much halfway. VerBruggen was not on top of his game. Manna most definitely was. But this a very different kettle of fish. Well, I suppose the luck balances out. Manna got a very lucky strike on the Brooklyn, but VerBruggen could have been left with the 7-10, and he gets a strike.
Well, yes, but this would have been very, very unlucky had he left the 7-10. This ball was deserving of a strike, and Tony's really wasn't. So, whilst he's had a bit of luck there not to leave the 7-10, he deserved that luck.
Two little love taps, and he loves it. That's another turkey for VerBruggen. Manna needs this for a double. There you go.
So both players matching each other strike for strike now. But Europe with that 11-pin advantage.
Look at this, Tony Manna still hanging around there. Still looking to pick up the crumbs of this one. You just sense it's one of those games. One little mistake from either man, the other one's going to pounce.
That's right, and both are in the position to pounce and working on a strike.
Exactly. Good effort from VerBruggen, a four-bagger. Now that's good bowling.
Tony having to play catch-up all the time now. It's always hard under those circumstances. Already trailing by 11. Go even further behind if he doesn't strike here.
Oh, there you go. That's the one that's been the Americans' doom throughout this Weber Cup, that 10. Ironically, ironically, this fella's had the least problems with the 10, but just when you didn't want it to rear its ugly head again, there it is, and it's in the pocket, and just wouldn't go.
Yeah, it's just slightly light in the pocket, and that's the area of hitting where you can be susceptible to leaving the 10 pin. Normally what happens is the 6 pin goes in front of the 10 into the gutter and won't bounce out, and just leaves the 10 standing. You see Lisa John, Team England lady.
And here's Tony Manna with an absolutely vital spare. Boy, he made that look very easy. It wasn't that easy.
Straight across the lane at that 10 pin there. A lot less revolution on the ball, just keeping the ball under control.
But going into this important frame 9, the Belgian is in pole position.
Well, this is virtually game shot if he strikes here. Gery will be aware of this. Some more good execution, and it's another point for Europe. Well, he made the good execution, but just like Tony in the previous frame, left the corner pin standing. Still just a glimmer for the USA.
Yes, and it'll be more than a glimmer if VerBruggen misses this one, and we've seen him miss this before. It's the pin the left-handers don't like. It's 62 feet away. It looks awfully small to Gery VerBruggen at the moment. And a miss could be catastrophic, but it's safely done. But as you say, that would have pretty much wrapped it up. He's still in a comfortable position, VerBruggen, but Manna knows a strike here. He's going to get the butterflies fluttering in those stomachs. Yeah, there it is. Anxious times ahead.
Well, the strike keeps the dream alive for Tony.
Sorry, I was going to say, what a different game this has been, hasn't it, from that first meeting?
Yes, he can strike out for 227, and Gery with a strike spare. Sorry, 247, and Gery with a strike spare will have 248.
So, frame 10. There it is. That should do it.
Well, all he needs to do is stay clean for the 11th and final frame now, and that's a point for Europe. Of course, if he strikes, he gets the 12th frame as well, but
there you go.
He knew how important that ball was.
Look, an Aussie rules umpire there, signalling a field goal. Just about there, barring something very, very unpleasant. Ooh. Hello. Thomas is saying, Gery, why are you doing this? Why are you making this hard on us all?
Gery coming up light on the headpin here. You see the headpin go in front of the three. He's left the sleeper. One of these two guarantees a tie. Both of them guarantees the win.
Well, they say revenge is a dish best served cold. And I think Gery VerBruggen has enjoyed every mouthful of this one. He's got revenge over Tony Manna.
Gery just checking the scoreboard there on his monitor. He now knows he's safe.
247 is the best that Manna can manage. Humble pie time for the American. And that just confirmed it. Tony, throughout this match, has just looked like he's been fighting the lane a little bit rather than working with it like we saw in the earlier matches.
Yes, he doesn't seem to have been right on top of it. He threw that bad Brooklyn shot in there as well. It was easily his worst game of the tournament, but it's still a pretty respectable one. Yes.
The knowledge that he can bowl an awful lot better than this is quite worrying for the European cause.
This is a good riposte by Europe after that mauling they took in the previous Baker Fives.
Yes, and a very good personal response from Gery VerBruggen, who had a tough time, certainly against this fella, and he's come back and turned the tables. Well, he finishes off with the strike for 227. But the battle of the big boys, it's honours even now. Manna won the first match, but VerBruggen gets his revenge by 21 pins, 248 to 227, and Europe restore their 4-point advantage. It's now 9-5.